Hey everybody, we are here at the Doctors for Disaster Preparedness, and I'm standing here with Tom DeWeese. He's well known to readers of the New American. He's actually on the National Council of the Birch Society, and he gave a wonderful talk here about the importance of local activism and working with your local elected officials. He runs, of course, the American Policy Center, a phenomenal organization that's really at the forefront of fighting back against the sustainable development madness. Tom, thank you for being with us. Talk a little bit about things that people can do in their local communities. You emphasize the importance of local activism. Give some people ideas for what they can do in their town, in their city, in their county to push back against this tyranny.
Yeah, absolutely. People are very intimidated. They look at the federal government and all these powers, even international, and they think there's nothing we can do. But if you begin to look at how they're operating, and they're coming into your local communities, looking at your city councilmen, your county commissioners, and so forth, and just surrounding them and pouring this stuff on, we're not there. And that's what people need to do. They've got to be there themselves and be involved. And as I went over yesterday in my talk, building a team in your community, that you don't want to be sitting there and have them come up with some new crazy idea and everybody's sitting around going, do you know about this? Where'd this come from? How do we do with that? By the time you've asked all those questions, they've already got it in place. You need a permanent infrastructure that's ready to immediately move on things. And it's what I call building a freedom pod. And the other thing with this is don't worry about what's happening in the next community or the next. Worry about yours and make the focus. You're going to protect local businesses and free enterprise. You're going to protect private property rights. You're going to protect individual liberty. If you make those three things the three pillars of freedom that you're focusing on, then you can begin to stop a whole lot of things that are happening. And so to build a team, the first thing you need to do is know your enemy. Who are you up against? What's the plan here? And research is the very important thing to do to find that out. Every community has a comprehensive development plan that these people are, these NGOs, these non-governmental organizations and so forth that are surrounding your elected officials, they're responsible for creating those things. And you look in that plan and you can see where they're going, what kind of policies there are. Get to know who these NGOs are. These are carpetbaggers in your community. They don't belong there. And they're international groups or they're national groups, and nothing they do is local. None of the policies are local. But you begin to look at that, and one of the things I tell people as they're looking at the comprehensive plan, look for one single line in there that says anything about protection of property rights. It's not there. And the reason that I've got involved in pushing for property rights as my main focus is because I learned that all of these plans under sustainable has kryptonite in it. That kryptonite is they can't put it in place without destroying property rights. And so if you can protect your property rights, you can stop it. The second thing you want to do, get 3 or 4 people who volunteer to just go to every meeting, every public meeting.
City council, county commission type thing, okay.
Right, yeah. I've had so many city councilmen, county commissioners say to me, Tom, your people aren't there. We never hear from you. And if finally one of our people do show up, it is so odd to them that, and the NGOs are whispering in their ears saying, don't pay attention to him, the guy's crazy, you know, and the conspiracy theorist. And, but get these watchers to go and just sit there. They don't have to do another thing but listen and take notes and see what's going on. Watching that, you will begin to see what the plans are, who the players are involved in it, and you'll know ahead of time a lot of what they're going to do. Combine that with the research. Then you get the agitators. These are the people that are your spokesmen, the people who are going to go before the councils and speak to them and take your position to them. You don't want to go in and start screaming at these elected officials. You want to go in with a very organized plan. And if you've got 3 or 4 people, you can organize what each one's going to say so you get it all out, because they give you 3 minutes as they sit on high looking down at you. The other thing I was told, advised by someone, don't everybody be in there under the same name, the same organization. You want to have different little break-off groups or something that have different names. It makes you look much larger. From there, you can begin to put together a social media team to get your information. You talk about the media. Every time I say to people, put a media team together, every eye in the place rolls like, oh yeah, we're going to get with those leftists and get something done. But first of all, if you put a social media team together and they can begin to put stuff on social media and you can help spread information that way, you can also I think it's very important that you do talk to the media. Don't ignore them. And you never know when a reporter is going to listen to you and hear something you say. Just get a conversation going, contact with them. That's all. Don't try to pressure them on anything. And all of this leads to the main thing we need to do is get good people elected to office. And there are lots of tools that you can do, to prepare for that. You need to keep a good record of them. One of the things that I talk about creating is a scoring system that you're looking at what policies have they put in place and score them 1 to 10. 1 is total tyranny, 10 is freedom. And then you look at who voted for these things and how, then you rate them. You put that scorecard out on them, you get their attention real quick. And this can help build your operation, your little organization very quickly to get a lot of attention, a lot of influence. And because I've never met a politician yet that wanted to be scored a 2. And stuff. But the other thing is begin to organize your precincts. Don't wait for a political party to do that. But your precincts. All this is somebody in each neighborhood who gets around to know your neighbors, know who they are, the ones you really want to get in the polls, the ones you don't want to get in the polls, but to take information about candidates and that sort of thing, to watch that. The other thing that we need to do is a lot of people from our side who are very conservative. We're conservative because we don't like government. We don't want massive omnipotent government. And the problem with that is that we aren't there. We don't want to go to city council and county commission meetings. We've got a family to raise, we've got a job to do, and so I hear it all the time. But the other side does. And so we've given them this totally clear playing field to go in and do whatever they want to do. And the result of our disliking government to that point is we get more government. Yeah. So, we've got to be there and organize that permanent infrastructure, the freedom pot in your community. If you do this step by step, get some good people elected, it'll begin to move up. Other communities will say, how did you do that? And they'll want to begin to build the same thing. And then it can move up to the state legislature, and then that begins to affect Congress. That's how we do it, from the bottom up rather than from the top down.
And how do you fight the pressure to take the federal money, the state money that is an incentive basically to roll out these attacks on property rights? How do you convince a city commission or a county council to say, no, we're not going to accept that, especially when the left-wing organizations are going to go around and say, oh, look at these clowns, they turn down all this free money and we had a right to that money. How do you combat that?
Yeah, that is a major problem, and you're absolutely right. And that is exactly how they put the pressure on that this is your money and your elected officials are depriving you of your money. The first thing to do, understand that these grants from HUD, EPA, Department of Transportation, others, a lot of these NGO organizations helped write those grants, and they put in those grants very specific things. You may have a city council that wants to just get a grant to help repave Main Street because you've got infrastructure under there. Maybe it's 100 years old and they need new pipes, they need new wires and so forth. That's an honest thought to do this. But you end up taking the grant and you find out there are all kinds of details in that grant to fulfill on it, to comply to it, that dictates maybe to put a roundabout on each end of Main Street, or maybe to use certain kind of plumbing codes and building codes and so forth. You need to look into that, and that's part of the research. Look at the grant. What's it say? And you get to your elected officials and make it loud and clear. This is what you're signing on to, and you win a couple battles like that. You can then get very strong in stopping them from doing that. The grants are the poison. That's how they spread all these policies on us, and why every single community in the nation now starts to look alike. Nothing's local, and it's because they're complying to these grants. So you're absolutely right. That is the center of it. But that's one way to do it. Get in there, find out the details, and send out the alert. So.
Very good. And Tom, you have a book out that talks about some of these strategies. It's actually for sale right over there on that table. Tell people how to get it, why they need it, and also how to find you on the internet.
Sure. What we've created is the Local Activist Handbook, and in this handbook we have the first half of it is a lot of these things I'm talking about, a lot of details of how to organize the precincts, how to put your freedom pod together. The second half of it, we've got sample legislation for property rights protection. We've got lots of different strategies and a lot of background information so you know what it is you're fighting. And it's on our website. Our website is AmericanPolicy.org, and you can go right into the website and see that and a lot of other tools. I've got other books we've written and produced, and we also have you can sign up to get our emails so you know what we're doing and keep you up to date on things. And we've got a very large archive on there of articles. It's almost a 30-year archive that really goes into all these background details and so forth. So yeah.
Very good. Well, Tom, thank you so much. Appreciate your time, folks. It's Tom DeWeese with the American Policy Center. Go check it out on the internet. He just won a big award yesterday here from the Doctors for Disaster Preparedness. What was the award again?
It was the now you asked me. It was for defense of freedom.
For defense of freedom. That's exactly right. Yep. So, folks, thank you very much. I'm Alex Newman, and we will catch up with you next time.